She was just a kid, barely 17, standing in a courtroom for a minor offense. But when she dozed off, the judge lost it. "Guards," he barked. "Force her to her knees." The whole room froze as they pushed her down, her eyes burning with shame and defiance. Why would a judge do this? And what happened next would leave that courtroom, and the judge, speechless, "Stick around. You won't believe how this ends." Her name was Aaliyah, a 17-year-old black girl from a small town in Georgia. She wasn't a criminal, not by a long shot. Aaliyah was in court for something minor, a shoplifting charge from snatching a $15 necklace at a mall. A dumb mistake, sure, but she was a kid, nervous, out of her depth. The courtroom was packed that day. Lawyers, clerks, families, all watching. The air was thick with tension, the kind you feel when power hangs heavy over a room. Aaliyah stood there, head down, in a faded hoodie and jeans, her public defender whispering last-minute advice. She hadn't slept much the night before, crashing at a friend's place after her mom kicked her out for arguing. She was tired, scared, and trying to hold it together. The judge, a man named Harold Grayson, was known for his iron fist. White, late 50s, with a reputation for keeping order. He'd been on the bench for 20 years. People said he loved the sound of his own gavel. As the hearing began, Aaliyah's eyes got heavy. The lawyer's words blurred into a hum. Her head nodded once, twice. Then she slumped slightly in her chair. That's when Grayson's voice cut through the room like a blade. "Young lady," he snapped. Aaliyah jolted awake, heart racing. "You think this is a place to sleep?" His face was red, his tone dripping with contempt. "This is my courtroom." Aaliyah mumbled an apology, but it wasn't enough. Grayson leaned forward, his eyes narrowing. "You will respect this court," he said. Then, with a flick of his wrist, he barked, "Guards, get her on her knees." The room went dead silent. Two bailiffs, burly guys in uniforms, hesitated for a split second before stepping forward. Aaliyah's eyes widened. "What?" she whispered, but they grabbed her arms, pulling her from the chair. The crowd gasped as the guards forced her down, her knees hitting the cold floor. Aaliyah's face burned with humiliation, but she didn't cry. Not yet. Her lawyer, a young woman named Maya Carter, shot to her feet. "Your Honor, this is unnecessary," she protested. Grayson didn't even look at her. "Order," he shouted, slamming his gavel. "She'll learn respect." Why would a judge do this? To a teenager, no less. Aaliyah wasn't a threat. She wasn't armed or dangerous. She was just a kid who made a mistake. But something about her, her youth, her blackness, her quiet defiance, seemed to set Grayson off. Whispers spread through the courtroom. Some saw it as justice. Others saw it as cruelty. One thing was clear. This moment would change everything. What nobody knew yet was that Aaliyah wasn't alone. Maya, her lawyer, wasn't just a public defender scraping by. She had a past of her own, a history of fighting battles against people like Grayson. And in the back of the room, someone was watching. Someone who'd been waiting for a chance to take this judge down. Aaliyah stayed on her knees for what felt like forever, though it was only a minute. Her heart pounded, but she kept her head up, staring straight at Grayson. The judge smirked, leaning back in his chair like he'd won something. "Maybe now you'll stay awake," he said. The crowd was split. Some nodded in approval, others shifted uncomfortably. Aaliyah's mom wasn't there, but a few community members were, and they were livid. One woman whispered to her friend, "This ain't right." Maya, the lawyer, wasn't backing down. She was 32, black, and had seen her share of courtroom power trips. She'd grown up in a neighborhood like Aaliyah's, scraping by, dodging trouble. Law school was her way out, but she never forgot where she came from. She knew judges like Grayson, men who wielded their gavels like weapons, especially against kids who looked like Aaliyah. Maya stepped forward, her voice steady but sharp. "Your Honor, this is excessive. She's a minor, not a felon." Grayson's eyes flicked to her, annoyed. "Counselor, sit down or you'll be next." The threat hung in the air, but Maya didn't flinch. She knew she was walking a tightrope. Push too hard and she'd be held in contempt. But back off, and Aaliyah would be crushed under the weight of this moment. The hearing moved forward, but the tension didn't break. Grayson sentenced Aaliyah to 30 days in juvenile detention for the shoplifting charge, harsh for a first offense. As the guards pulled Aaliyah up, Maya caught her eye and mouthed, "I've got you." Aaliyah nodded barely, but it was enough. Something was brewing. Outside the courtroom, word spread fast. A local activist, Jamal, had been in the crowd. He'd recorded the whole thing on his phone, shaky footage of Aaliyah being forced to her knees. By that evening, the video was on social media, racking up thousands of views. Comments poured in, "This judge needs to go. Why is this still happening?" The hashtag #justice for Aaliyah started trending locally. But the real turning point came from someone nobody expected, a retired court clerk named Evelyn. She was in her 60s, white, soft-spoken, and had worked under Grayson for years. Evelyn had seen things, cases mishandled, kids railroaded, especially black and brown teens. She'd kept quiet, afraid of losing her job. But seeing Aaliyah on her knees broke something in her. Evelyn reached out to Maya that night, her voice trembling. "I have files," she said. "Proof Grayson's been abusing his power for years." Maya met Evelyn in secret. The files were damning. Complaints against Grayson buried. Cases of excessive sentencing. Even whispers of racial bias. One document showed Grayson had pressured a bailiff to teach a lesson to another black teen years ago. Maya's pulse raced. This wasn't just about Aaliyah anymore. This was about a pattern, a system that let men like Grayson thrive. But taking on a judge wasn't easy. Grayson had friends in high places, politicians, other judges, even cops. Maya knew she'd need more than files. She needed a plan, and she needed Aaliyah to fight back, too. The next day, Maya visited Aaliyah in juvenile detention. "You don't have to let him win," she told her. Aaliyah was quiet, her eyes still burning with that mix of shame and defiance. "What can I do?" she asked. "I'm nobody." Maya leaned in. "You're not nobody, you're the spark." Over the next week, Maya built her case. She worked late nights, digging through Evelyn's files and cross-referencing cases. She found 3 other teens, 2 black, 1 Latino, who'd faced Grayson's wrath in similar ways. One had been forced to stand for an entire hearing. Another was sent to detention for disrespectful posture. The pattern was clear. Grayson targeted kids who couldn't fight back. Meanwhile, the video of Aaliyah went viral, hitting 1 million views. Protests formed outside the courthouse, small but loud. Signs read "No Justice, No Peace, and Fire Grayson." The media picked it up, local news, then national. Aaliyah's story was everywhere, but she was still locked up, feeling like the world had forgotten her. Maya knew she had to act fast. She filed a motion to appeal Aaliyah's sentence, citing judicial misconduct. But Grayson wasn't going down without a fight. He doubled down, issuing a statement claiming Aaliyah was disruptive and needed discipline. It was a lie, but it rallied his supporters. Online, the comments split. Some called Aaliyah a thug, others a victim. The tension was electric, and Maya felt it every time she stepped into the courthouse. Then came the double twist. Evelyn wasn't just a clerk with a conscience. She'd been keeping a secret of her own. Years ago, her grandson, a mixed-race kid, had been in Grayson's court. He'd been sentenced harshly for a minor offense, and it broke him. Evelyn blamed herself for staying silent. Now she was done. She handed Maya a recording, a conversation between Grayson and a bailiff, caught on her old phone. In it, Grayson laughed about putting those kids in their place. Maya's hands shook as she listened. This was it, the smoking gun, but using it was risky. The recording wasn't exactly legal, and Grayson could turn the tables, accusing them of entrapment. Maya needed one more piece, Aaliyah's voice. She visited Aaliyah again. "I need you to speak," Maya said, "at the appeal. Tell them what it felt like." Aaliyah hesitated. She wasn't a hero, not in her own mind, but she thought about her little brother, still at home, and how she didn't want him to face a judge like Grayson. "Okay," she said finally, "I'll do it." The appeal hearing was set. The courtroom was packed, reporters, activists, even Grayson's allies. Aaliyah walked in head high, no longer the scared kid from before. Maya stood beside her, ready to fight. The hearing was a showdown. Maya presented the files, the pattern, the recording. Gasps echoed when Grayson's voice played, his laughter chilling the room. Aaliyah took the stand, her voice steady. "I was scared," she said, "but I wasn't ashamed. I didn't do anything to deserve that." Her words hit hard, and even Grayson shifted in his seat. The twist came when the presiding judge, a woman known for fairness, halted the hearing. She'd seen enough. Grayson was suspended pending investigation. Aaliyah's sentence was overturned. The crowd erupted. Cheers, tears, hugs. Outside, protesters chanted Aaliyah's name. But the real victory wasn't just Grayson's fall. It was Aaliyah finding her voice. She wasn't just a kid anymore. She was a symbol. Maya hugged her, whispering, "You did it." Aaliyah smiled for the first time in weeks. This wasn't the end. Grayson's investigation would drag on, but the tide had turned. Aaliyah went home, vowing to help other kids like her. Maya kept fighting, her fire reignited, and Evelyn, she finally felt free. What would you have done in that courtroom? Would you have stayed silent or spoken up? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. If this story hit you, smash that like button and subscribe for more real stories of justice and redemption. Let's keep the conversation going, because no one should be forced to their knees.